property here, so.
Okay.
Because we had a pivot, instead of showing the rope, I'm actually have the rope. Instead of showing a picture of the gun, I actually have one of the guns used. And then we have other biohazard. But the key is, it's the story that I'm gonna take you through that, that's gonna tell you.
So you're gonna move around a lot?
I'm gonna go from this table to right here.
I'm gonna put a lav on you too.
Okay.
Did you bring a lav?
I've got one, yeah.
Okay.
So I tell you what, I'm only gonna go here. I'd rather, cause then I'll have 4 lavs on me. If I stay right here,
Yeah, that should
is that
work.
good?
Well, I want to make sure everybody's asking for this video.
Okay.
So CNN, ABC, all the networks want it.
Okay.
So
What's that? What's that? Okay. But we want him for custody, right?
I'm gonna. Yeah, they liked your teas. I'm just gonna throw it there. So I think everybody liked your teas, so now everybody's interested. So.
Well, it's worthy of interest.
Yeah, but it was well written. That's.
I need to tighten the legs.
Or do you want to use mine?
That should work.
Okay.
As long as it's not getting bumped.
Yeah. I'm gonna slide the table back too, guys, so if you got, make sure you have enough forward on that.
You have good internet?
Okay, just making sure. There's issues with power down here, so. I got a double leg, so. Channel 2 is going to be his lav on. Just so you know.
7.
Okay, cool.
Go do another pack.
Yep, thanks. Yep. Bye.
Be out of there by 12:30.
I don't like it. Is that it's all the it's all gonna come through in one big smooth offer. No? Yeah.
Yeah. I tell people, man, you know, this and the other. I'm like, I remember Monday through Friday,
Yeah. Am I live on any of these?
You're not up for me.
Oh, I have,
I've just got my one iron.
mic on. Am I?
I'll cut you off, hang on. You're off.
So, but it's like, you know, we've had a lot of people make the jump from this market to Detroit. And make sure, you know, it never appealed to me, but it's nice talking to somebody who like actually worked. Because there's so much news in Detroit, it's like, are you ever really hungry to leave, like, when you want to leave or whatever, or you're gonna have to stay and keep that fire, or get that homicide, or get that whatever. It's not like, I mean, it's not like that for me. It's not saying that it wouldn't be, just like I was around. I'm not a clock watcher, but I do believe it's not working like that.
Just hang tight, we'll deal with that in a second.
When I started.
Reach over there and grab some.
Like here?
Yeah, that works.
Stuff happens, I get all that. You on vacation? And I know Karen ain't, she lives in that office, so she did some work for us, God bless her, but I don't follow that model. Oh, yeah, we're good. But no, Karen, yeah, she's nice personality, one of the nicest managers I've ever had in my life, to be honest with you.
Hey, Walker? Have Walker right here, and Dave, same thing. Thanks. Take photos from the back.
Oh, and here's the power.
We're not pivoting.
We're moving back.
Yeah.
Turn on those lights, flip the switch right there. That'll help.
Light on or off, sir?
They can read.
I was gonna say, it actually probably looks better, more dramatic this way.
Yeah, perfect.
I was afraid of those guys, I was looking through the viewfinder. That's right. Yeah, right, halfway through the last operation.
Sheriff, please say something real quick.
Check, check, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Tell me when everybody's ready.
I'm good. Good over there, Mike?
2 seconds. Yep, I just let them know to go ahead.
I knew this serial monster was bad, but I did not realize he's as bad as what I'm going to tell you today. And that's why we're back. This is Michael Barajas. He's been in custody since December of 2022 when we brought this story to our media friends. And because of that, the courage of another victim who's had these horrific memories in her mind for nearly 20 years has come forward. But it's the gap between that assault in 2022 and where I need your help. There are more suspects out there. We have 2 more in custody. And now I'm going to tell you the story of Michael Barajas, who filed his teeth as one of the many ways that he would intimidate, that he would threaten his victims across this mid-Michigan area, and now I know even in other states. I need your help. So follow me. December 8th, 2022, Michael Barajas was arrested because a victim that he orchestrated the kidnapping of using 2 other individuals, one of which we have in custody, in a yellow Hummer, saw the victim, a vulnerable victim, walking down the side of the road on the east side of Flint. Offered her, if you recall from our first story, a warm place to stay, a shower, food. It's the bare needs of an individual. It's the basic hygiene that she so needed and was so desperate. That was the grooming hook that they used. Brought her into the yellow Hummer, took her to the house that Barajas was waiting for because he was building out a gang to do these kinds of things called the Mossad Squad. This is what he was doing. He was training different people in his organization to find vulnerable females, to take them to a location, and to use that location as a human trafficking headquarters for people to come in and rape these victims. We saw that in the first one. This adult victim, after she was brought to the house on Merriman Street, and we have this house, it was raided that day. That's where Barajas was arrested multiple times throughout the days, and this happened back in Thanksgiving of 2022. Every day she would have these individuals come over, and they would rape her as Barajas and his other generals would hold her down using things just like this, which is the actual rope from the scene that was used to tie down and to restrain the victim as they sexually assaulted her. They didn't treat her with any dignity, no respect. Many times in human trafficking, these individuals are treated as property. They're treated as somebody that has no soul, but yet they are. They are human beings. They have a heart, and they take advantage of that innocence. They hold guns up to their head. Here's one of the weapons that was used. We know there's a second weapon we haven't found. To the head of these individuals, Barajas held it to the head of our victim and said, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. He even used his teeth, as mentioned, that he would tell the victim, I'm going to rip your throat out if you don't do what I tell you to do and you don't comply. It's dominance. It's grooming. It's kidnapping. And for the 3 weeks that she was picked up on Thanksgiving era until the time that we were able to rescue her, she tried to escape 2 other times. The first time she ran out the front door because the doors were barricaded with locks. The windows were screwed shut with drywall screws. She had an opportunity. She ran out the door. And as she was running down the street, they fired a round at her. They tackled her. She actually stabbed Barajas at one point, dragged her back. She tried to escape a second time. Went to a local McDonald's. But they followed her and they threatened to kill her if she made any statements. And many times in the syndrome, in the world that they're in, these victims have to make a decision of what to do to survive. And she went back a second time against her will. And it was the third time that we're so thankful to our hospital friends at Hurley Hospital, because she had a medical emergency that a 911 call was made. She was brought to the hospital, and that's where she was rescued by Ghost. When we started that case, as I said, somebody who does this, a guy that files his teeth down, a guy that has this kind of MO, has done it before. And when we broke the story just before Christmas, I knew the call to action was to use the media, the friends in the media, to give that courage that's needed. And that's exactly what happened on January 3rd of 2023. Because of this platform and all those that are out there around the country, and those that even use this to send to other news outlets in other countries, especially our friends in the UK, you were able to give the second victim courage, because that's the exact word she used when she called to make the complaint, that she saw the news story and she has enough courage to come forward and tell her story. And this is her story. She's not from this area. Her nightmare began in 2003 and went all the way to 2007, when she was age 4, all the way to age 8 and 9. In that window, at age 4, she was put into a situation because of her connection as a child of an adult to Barajas' family of adults. And I got to be sensitive, I don't give all the case facts out, but I will tell you that as a 4-year-old, you don't have say. But Barajas was an adult at that point. Now, mind you, he's 36 years old now. He was 17, 18, 19 back then, and she was 4. And every week, sometimes 4 to 5 times a week, he would hold this little girl and he would do the same thing to her, almost the same type of threats, the same type of intimidation, and the same type of sexual assault. And it's recorded, and it's stunning that this victim's statement says that this happened 100 or more times as a young child. And it was only because that relationship with the adults broke up, that she was rescued, and she was taken out of the situation, never to tell her story until January 3rd of 2023, because of what we're doing right now, which is why I'm back. And because of what she did and the courage she had, I know there's more victims out there. And we have not stopped investigating this crime. That's why we arrested 2 more people. Alex Schmidt was the driver of the yellow Hummer that originally kidnapped our first victim, and he's in custody. And not only that, Detective Sergeant Josh Walker, who did the interview, was able to take our investigative evidence as well as other tools to get enough probable cause, as you could say, where the prosecutor of this county, David Layton, charged him with kidnapping and sexual assault 1st degree. Joanne Housey was another participant in this violent sex ring. He's charged with 4 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the 1st degree and kidnapping. So we have Barajas, who was not in the yellow Hummer because he sent his generals out to go find vulnerable people, i.e. finding our first victim. They kidnap her by promising her what she is in desperate need of. They take her back to the house of torture. They torture her for 3 weeks. She comes into the hospital on December 8th. We get him in custody, and because of that investigation, 2 more in custody, but there's 2 more outstanding. The first one, we don't have a picture of. His street name goes by Lil Ryan, L-I-L Ryan. If you know who this cat is, you call 911 and let law enforcement do our part to go track him down. That's the only information I know, is Lil Ryan, L-I-L-R-A-Y-N. But this is another suspect. His name is Cody Loher, L-O-H-R-E-R. We need to find him. He's got information that is critical to this case. He's got information that I know as an active participant. He is, at this point, since there's no formal charges, he is a individual of interest, but we're going to find him. And we're going to find Lil Ryan as well. And when we have this case, and we show you the different types of tools that were used, the rope to tie her down, and the gun that's used, one of two, to point and put in her head and make sure that she follows through. We don't have the pacifier that Barajas used that they made her suck on when they said, call us daddy while we do this. That's the mentality. I know this is hard material. I know this is harsh, but we have to be real on this because this is what human trafficking is, not only in the state of Michigan, but around the country and around the world. Is there is a group of individuals that they see male and female victims, young and old, as property, as assets. It is the sex slavery industry, and that's what Barajas did. He used his intimidation, he filed his teeth to be more intimidating in order to get these victims in, and I know there's more. Here's why I know there's more. Because our second victim, the young one, they're an adult now. This is 2023. Her torture and her nightmare ended in 2007. So from 2007 to 2022, when we got in, how many other victims are along that timeline? And that's why we need the media, the friends that are out there. If you know somebody had any interaction with Michael Barajas, he did not stop. He doesn't stop. That's why he's a serial monster. Rarely do I ever give an adjective, a name to somebody like this, but when you look at this and you see the statements that are given and what he provides, this is exactly what happens. He did not stop targeting his victims. We know there's two more out there, and we're going to continue to find them 24/7. We aren't going to stop. But again, if you out there have been a victim of Barajas or any of these individuals we've shown, or a victim of any other case, even if it's not Genesee County, I promise you, Ghost in this office, we will give you your voice, like we've said. We will give you a time to come forward. If you have the courage, because that's what it takes. It takes a lot of courage to come forward and tell your story. We will protect you. But I know those victims out there right now that every day that goes by, in fact, there is a statement made that even when a single word was heard to our second victim, she would shudder in pain and fear because there are so many different reminders. And I know there's people out there that experience that right now. So this or any case, you come forward, we'll protect you. Victims have a voice, and we want to give that voice to you. That's where we are right now with this case. Michael Barajas, Schmidt, and Housey are all in custody as we speak in the jail. We have two more outstanding. The Detective Bureau and the Ghost team are working as we speak. We're going to continue to give you updates, but now I'm going to open up for your questions. If I can answer them, I'm going to answer them. James Felton, Channel 5.
Where was this victim from? If you can't give me a specific location, can you narrow it down as much as possible?
So it's the Center and Davison Road here in Flint, Michigan, is when the original assault took place. But she is no longer in the state of Michigan. She's out of state, and she's an adult. Yes, sir.
Can you talk about this area, this I-69 corridor that has been, it's drug trafficking, it's human trafficking, it's I-75, I-69 has been that really hotbed in our state for this. And obviously on the heels of, we're going to commemorate Human Trafficking Day this
That's right.
week.
Tomorrow.
Talk about that.
So it's ironic that this month is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and the Ghost team that was formed in 2018 is now operations in 43 counties throughout the state of Michigan, 7 states throughout the country, including our friends in Las Vegas Metro PD, Florida, Minnesota. But the question is from mid-Michigan now, that 69, 75, 23 corridor, Genesee County is unique. It's got a metroplex of expressways that allows the transportation of individuals. See, what we don't know is all those individuals that came to the house that Barajas held her captive, they're just as guilty as human traffickers because they're consumers of somebody being trafficked. And that's why what you're talking about is the mobility, and that's why we do operations across the state, because traffickers and consumers travel. These are the deviant individuals that live normal lives. They look like the normal person, but they have an ulterior motive. And based on all of our arrests, over 175 predator arrests in this office alone, these folks are 9 times out of 10 never involved in any law enforcement contact. They work and live among us. They're in our families. But yet they find people like Barajas and they link up in the dark web, which is the layer below what we normally use as an everyday business, because this is a trade. That's why human trafficking is the second biggest enterprise, but it's the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world behind drug trafficking. And it's interdependent because they use dope to keep her sedated while they raped her throughout the day. So the answer to your question is, anywhere there's an expressway, anywhere in the United States, it is a thoroughfare for people to travel and transport drugs and human beings. And you have to have a focus on both. And that's why Ghost is focused on oppression, the human trafficking side of it and the narcotic side of it, because they work hand in hand. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
Have there been new charges brought against Barajas since the first press conference that you held?
So, the second victim, because of the prosecutor's office and our assistant prosecutor, Karen Hansen, we have 20 additional felonies on Barajas. These are weapons offenses, which are 2-year felonies. These are intimidation and bribery, which are 10-year felonies. And we have, and I think the number is 10 CSC first degrees, which are life offenses. And those warrants are all been, he's already been arraigned on all of them, and he's in jail with no bond still. So 20 additional counts for the second victim. Yes?
Can you characterize this case? You said 4 years, Ghost was formed in 18, 175 arrests here, and you're in all these other jurisdictions assisting. Can you rate this case compared to that long list of cases that have been established?
So the question is, do we and how do we rate these kinds of cases versus all the other cases that are bad? And I will tell you that Ghost does preemptive investigations, proactive investigations where we are undercover. But then you have these cases like Peter Pagic, who comes from Florida up here to groom and to rape a 12-year-old and convinces her to jump out of her parents' bedroom window at midnight to take her to a hotel in Mount Morris Township. Then you have Eugene Pratt, that was, you've seen the videos before, where he would go into stores and he would hunt for victims, and he was part of the school system. I'd have to say, when it comes to the brutality, this is number one. The brutality, the look, the intimidation, I've seen nothing like it. That's why I don't characterize individuals, but I will characterize this guy. There's no other purpose for him to do what he's doing in order for him to do good. It is only evil. That's why it's number one.
Can we get the spelling on Mossad Squad?
So, the spelling that I have is M-A-S-A-A-D, Squad, Mossad Squad, which was his little gang of serial rapists he's putting together, and again, those consumers that, I will tell you this, if you took advantage of any of these females, or any other female or male in a sex slave ring, we're going to find you. You could try to hide it from your families, your friends. You could try to go and put different names on your phones under different profiles and try to do ghost apps. We'll find you. There's no time that we will wait to keep seeking the individuals that are responsible.
Does that term have any other kind of meaning, Mossad? Does that come from anything?
The term Mossad Squad was I'm sure in his mind was something that he was trying to create to form a sex industry trade. And mind you, we had the other case with Dennis and Cox, and this male-female team would lure young women through Instagram and Facebook and TikTok through direct messages to come over to drink, to have parties. And as they raped them, they videotaped and they took still shots. And then that leads into the sextortion ring, because they now have video and they now have still photos that are traded on the dark web, and not only traded but also purchased. And the younger they are, the more money they drive. It's an industry. That's why I say it's the fastest growing criminal sexual conduct industry in the world today is human trafficking. And it impacts all of us, not just this county, not just the state, or even this country.
And can I also get the spelling of the street? Merriman Street?
Yes. The question on the street is, and I had it here with our others because we had a pivot from the street that Barajas was arrested, Marmion in Flint, Center and Davison area. All of it's kind of interconnected. When we hit the second house, that was a house that was located on the street of Virginia, which is just all in that same area. That's where he arrested Jawan Housey and Schmidt. Well, I just want to end by saying this, and you don't normally get this when it comes to a press conference, but I've had such a great rapport with our media that I can't thank you enough to use your platforms to get the message out, because I know there's victims. They may not have the courage after the first one, but maybe our second victim gave another victim enough courage that they come forward. If you have a story, call 911. You could call our direct 24/7 hotline, 810-257-3422. If you've seen this message and you need your voice heard, we will hear you. Thank you so much.